There's a lot of Hindus in India that are irritated and traditional African leaders. So
those Frenchies too.
Oh, by the way, they just keep going out in the streets.
I know. Who knew the French would be so enraged about something? Just me, COVID.
Who knew that a bunch of bearded Orthodox guys would be like, did you see those French guys? I love them. Hello and welcome to Why Are We Talking About Rabbits? Rabbits are things that jump around, Seth, that on the internet you can't really pin them down, but they're reproducing a lot. And you're like, wow, that seems exciting until you realize it's just another thing you're not positive about. It's confusing you and it weighs you down. We're going to talk about the heavy things, but we're going to talk about them lightly. Today, Uncle Seth is back talking about, I don't know, maybe some things we even agree on, the old world, the new world perspective that we're trying to talk about here on WAWTAR. Why are we talking about rabbits? Uncle Seth today on WAWTAR.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Seth.
Good to be back. Hello.
Uncle Seth, you've learned to do lighting better than me. I look like I'm in a place where I'm going to be tortured.
But because I just have band lighting. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, Hilltop. Give a plug right off the bat. Hilltop.
My band is Hilltop, people.
It's a good band.
I'm not doing these podcasts just to plug us, which it must seem like that because I'm always, and the work-ins always come a little earlier in the podcast. Have you noticed? Now
it's like, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was it. That's the end of it.
Welcome to Why Are We Talking About Rabbits? By the way, Hilltop.
Also peanut butter whiskey. Good night. That's what I'm drinking tonight. Seth, we probably will plug that band because we're putting on, you guys are awesome and you're going to put on a benefit concert, but let's talk about this. Are you going to have a mask on when you sing at the First Things benefit concert?
I am not going to, for a couple of reasons. One, because, I was down in Florida in a couple of months ago and I wore a mask into the Publix and I got attacked. I told you that, so right off.
I was thinking of one of those big masks I see on the commercials. I have not watched the show where they sing with a mask. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Oh, right. The Masked Singer. Yeah, that's right. The Masked Singer. These days you have to be more specific.
I was actually thinking the Masked Singer and you were thinking of, okay, well, you can wear a mask, I guess. Well, we're right into COVID.
Yeah. I mean,
what happened? They attacked you. Was it a Publix?
Yeah, at a Publix, a guy sort of got pissed and mouthed off.
Was it at the Villages? Did you pull into the Villages?
No. It was. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it was. I just want you to think it's every Publix. This is happening at people.
And you want us to think it's Florida.
You want to think it's at the Villages where some old kooks are
kooks.
Yeah, that's right. No, they're not kooks, man. They're everywhere.
You don't even have them. Do you have them in Lincoln Square? Be honest. In Chicago.
What? Mask shamers? Anti-mask shamers?
Anti-mask shamers. Take that off, son. Yeah.
No, we've got mask shamers, not wearing of mask shamers for sure.
But you don't have the opposite.
No, of course. But
and you saw one of the anti-mask shamers in Florida recently. I see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, as I am wont to do, I responded. He's one of these guys that just likes to talk and not get confronted. You know these people in life. Did you
take an Indian, one of those cool like Indian old school boxer looks at him?
Right.
Like with the backward curved knuckles.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Those English brought that all over the world, that style of fighting. They did. Why of a sudden people are dancing up like this?
It's true. It's like, why do you Indian guys drink tea and box with your knuckles all backwards? Oh, that's why.
Right, the English.
Why are the light people always doing that? But so then that was okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to get back to the Masked Singer,
what is that?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen that show?
I hate this sort of, hate reality shows. And there's, they kind of catch on everywhere with every demographic, I think.
You never got into American Idol.
No, nope, no way.
Do you think it's a sign of cultural depravity or degradation?
I think it is a sign that people are more interested in seeing misfortune than fortune. And I've seen this with all of these shows that's the case. You name the show, the focus quickly becomes it's tribal. I'm on team whatever, and I don't even know what to, whatever. I'm on team whatever. And then you're hoping to see somebody else get roasted because you hate them. Oh, I hate so-and-so. It's like weird.
It is weird. Do you think that's what this COVID thing is about? Between say old world, red and blue, old world, new world. You think that's going on?
I think so for sure. I mean, but if you think about it, this is just another place that we've found to fight over. And if COVID had never happened, there would still be this division and us scrapping over some little piece of fat that the haves have thrown. Haves, not necessarily haves monetarily, but it ends up being that the powerful have thrown in between us.
So when you say those words, do you think, I mean, you're a smart guy, taught history. Is that something that you think of as Marxist language? The haves throwing stuff out to the have-nots?
It is, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, I think for anybody to try to say that the focus of living or the focus of the life that we live is for someone to say that the focus is not about how to balance the people with power or the institutions with power and those without is lying to themselves to get through this life. And I think you do this in your, this.
Is that a Christian impulse to you?
What?
This idea that we have to balance. Why can't, I'm thinking of Roman history. They didn't exactly look out for the lower classes. They either kind of enslaved them, or do you think that Christian, because I would say the old worlders, I'm not calling them red states. I don't really like that equation. I don't think they go 1-to-1 like that, but old worlders would say something like, yeah, you're doing a God thing there by trying to look out for the low people. Is that when you take God out, then the low people are just, they earned it. Like they're down there, and that's the way the ecosystem works.
Well, listen, this is, I mean, there are many things of religion that are attractive to me. Just because I am not a religionist doesn't mean I don't. And this is one of the things that I do like. Just in the same way that, whenever we talk about it, orthodoxy is very, I would say very attractive, but it's more attractive than the Pentecostals. It's like, no offense to any of our,
by the way, that would be
handling. No offense to any snake handlers out there.
It's called too late in this business.
Andrew,
First Things Foundation.
Andrew, you're looking out for me. I mean, I just put it this way, and this is what I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because the COVID thing has taken yet another turn. I mean, it's always turning. That it seems to me that the people who are erring on the side of on my side, and I think there's a lot of errors to be for every side, but the people who are erring on my side are tending to embrace more of an old world mentality of community versus those that are really stressing at this particular time.
Go ahead.
Your side, on your rotten side, are stressing individuality and at the core of everything. And you can call it what you want,
I see. So okay.
And I think community has to be at the base of your doctrine. I mean, you've told me once. You told me once that
my doctrine being the sort of old world Christian view.
Yeah, tradition. You said that that is the anchor for your religion is tradition.
Tradition. Yes. Can I get into it for a second, though?
For sure.
The anchor is, without sounding like, a preacher, which we do sometimes, is the resurrected Christ, the unity of God and man, and all of that. And then we supposed to drive toward that in our life and live that way as we're called to. So the anchor is that thing that happened, which we could talk about why you think
I
that
understand
thing may not happen. But hold on.
But the way you know that is through tradition.
Okay, awesome. So the epistemology, right, is we through the inherited culture of Christ. So we're saying the same thing. But so then hold on a second. And you're saying that right now there could be an error being made by, let's just call them my people, the old worlders. This isn't just Orthodox people. There's a lot of Hindus in India that are irritated and traditional African leaders. So
those Frenchies too.
Oh, by the way, they just keep going out in the streets.
Oh, I know. Who knew the French would be so enraged about something? Just me, COVID.
Who knew that a bunch of bearded Orthodox guys would be like, did you see those French guys? I love them. It's very weird. But so you're saying that it's possible that these people, let's just call them my people for the sake of the pod, they're making a mistake by not embracing the part of tradition that calls for community.
Correct.
And instead embracing the part of tradition that calls for individual freedom.
That's correct.
Something.
And I think that people on your side, not the ones that I usually link you with to disparage you, people on your side who are real Christians, in my scholarly view, have missed a huge opportunity. This was a chance at a worldwide, every single living human being reset in terms of how we think of community.
Don't they know it's Christmas time?
Okay. So this was our second chance at a reset. First,
didn't you see Live Aid?
There are people dying. Oh, it's time to let
Come on, man. You literally were given that. That was a light person. You missed a chance to unite all together under Bono.
Here's what I would.
I felt it, and then I realized this dude is about to deliver the globalist marching orders. Come on.
No, listen. You're not listening, man.
All right, go again. We had an opportunity to unite. We had an opportunity.
No.
Collective.
I say this. Everybody talks about this. They're trying to roast my side by saying great reset. I know you guys love this stuff. Okay.
That is real. That is real stuff.
Okay. But what you don't understand is you are missing what the reset is. You think it's a reset. We want to reset it. And then it's going to end up in some march to totalitarianism or something. I don't know.
You got that right?
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Here's my reset. And I said this right in when this whole started and we were getting locked down and whatever. Mm-hmm. My reset is I'm resetting spending 24/7 with my family and the people I love. Mm. I'm reconnecting with people over Zoom that I was best man at their wedding. And I have spoken to them once a year for the last whatever, or less than that, mm-hmm. There's the reset. And that reset seems to focus on ourselves and our families, mm-hmm. And get away from the noise of being out and consumerism. And, they knocked that down, is true. The reset that I think is the value that came out of this whole mess, no matter what side you're on. And if people can't see it and they want to just focus on what somehow you guys think we were trying to accomplish, some nefarious reset is not the reset that is really you missed the ball on while you were looking over here to accuse us of focusing on this reset. and fight against this reset, the reset that was of value was going behind you and you missed the train.
That's well said. I'll speak for my people. This is the worst.
I would like
but
to
I will.
listen. Wait. I would like
which
to
people?
Say wait.
Which people?
I'd love to say something to our listening audience right now. You'll notice that John finds it hard to speak for his people because he sees there's something inherently that he does not want to be connected with, which when you talk about my people and I have to speak to my people, believe me, I don't love.
Oh, you embrace them.
No. Come on. I don't embrace all of them. You know, the kooks. The kooks.
Do you like the people that were snapping pictures of my daughter in her house when her mask was off in her house? That's odd.
Ouch. Those are my people.
Because technically she was in a dorm, but it was like a house on campus. And they were like, look, those are your people.
All right, fine. What were you going to say? You were going to speak for your people.
Well, I think so. The narrative you just did was really brilliant because it does do something as I hear those words. Because when you say them, I'm not the measurement of stuff, but in me at those moments, I do see what you're saying. It's not crazy time to think that this was offered to people of spiritual sort of awareness. It was offered to them to
it was offered to everybody.
Yeah,
everybody. You're never in your lifetime and in generations of yours that comes lifetime, there's never going to be anything that affected every single living human being on this earth for amount of time beyond some alien, we find some aliens thing or whatever.
That's coming.
Okay. Tune in for the conspiracy podcast following this episode right here.
Oof. Let's not talk about that. I will say, but there's a little bit of there's just this little problem with it, which is it implies that you see something was already wrong. Does that make sense? And the thing you saw that was wrong was some lack of community, right?
Yeah.
And that the COVID moved us toward that, and we should have all embraced that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, for sure.
The problem is the fruits of this thing have been that individually for many people on many layers. But the fruits right now are this mandate. And the mandate is the opposite of what you're describing. Okay. It's literally pointing out who can and who can't. It's a total division. So what I'm trying to say is the fruits of the pandemic, clearly your people, your people are running the CDC and your people.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Clearly Hollywood, whatever. Let's just do this for a second.
Yeah.
I promise we'll go back to you, but they have now decided that this moment of unity that it all could have been, this moment of unity is going to end with mandates and literally firing people like poor Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. There's so much to,
and we're not going to spend all the time on that.
Yeah. Okay. But there's a lot of things that I would just want to respond to right now. Number one, the fruits didn't come from the CDC. The fruits of this came from the reaction to how world governments handled this. So it's the thing that's out there. Our reaction to anything is the only thing we can control. That's, that's a truism. That it's the reaction among people who, now I'm not saying that you guys did it wrong. I am saying that, but, we also did something. I'm just saying that it's the reaction that has made the crummy fruit, not the mandates. The mandates are there. And then how did it affect, or how did people react to them is what is you think.
Oh, it's not the mandate itself.
No, because then let me prove it.
Go and for it.
Be straight honest with me.
Okay.
When I spoke to you about how they handled the 1918 pandemic when there were no vaccines, but they did make mask mandates. You know what you said to me?
They did in some cities. Hold on.
You know what you said? Yes. Mm-hmm. And you know what you said to me? you said, well, 50 million people died or whatever is the number. So many people died. It was a different disease. So what you've proven is you are okay with mandates. Stop. Full stop. You are okay with mandates if it meets your opinion, your informed medical opinion of something that it deserves. And now, so let's stop right there. You like your four mask mandates when you believe it's good. You're also, when we've talked about polio, your reaction has been, well, it's polio.
Not entirely, but
well, wait a minute.
Maybe on one or two texts.
Yes,
but not entirely.
Well, okay, but here's the point.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the point.
Make your point.
You don't have to make it on the text. You've made it by the way you've lived. You didn't do podcasts about the evilness of mandates when they were sending Georgia Heers to kindergarten. You did not do that.
Correct.
So you agree with also vaccine mandates. Full stop. When it meets your informed medical need. Let's just establish this. Will you agree that you are pro mandate?
Define mandate.
Well, you define mandate.
Okay.
You define what the difference in the mandate is for this versus.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Okay. Mandates here are simply government imposed coercion regarding various policies. So in this policy is about health. And various government officials are mandating, not passing laws, but mandating through various health regulations that you have to do things like OSHA. And so the question is who is doing it and what is the outcome of the mandate? So hold on, the seriousness of the outcome. So for instance, if Georgia or one of my kids was going to be put into a school that demanded this vaccine, and then also vaccine C. And I thought vaccine C was unnecessary. I wouldn't put her in that school. Guess what I could do? Put her in a different school. And so there is a conversation about individuals have to choose what they're going to do based on the seriousness of whatever disease it is. So polio was proven over time. This is what I want people to hear. Polio was proven over time, right, to be a killer. And the polio vaccine was not mandated. For 25 years, it wasn't mandated. You tell me in 25 years, you might get a mandate for COVID. I say, let's take a peek at it. This mandate wasn't even a year of having the disease.
Right. So
that doesn't, how does that not make you nervous?
So right off the bat, what you are saying here is, in your informed medical opinion,
correct,
this is too fast.
For me.
For this mandate.
For this mandate.
Okay. But you said you'll take a look at it, which means that you are pro mandate. We have established this clearly.
Yeah, like a stop sign is a mandate to stop. I'm for the stop sign. I get it.
Fine. You're a pro mandate. So let's get on the same page here so we can argue.
No problem.
Evenly.
Okay. So now go ahead.
So now.
Then we'll do the next topic, which I want to do.
Okay, fine. We'll do the next one. But let me just say this in passing, in ending. We're both for mandates. You've chosen to trust your informed medical opinion. I've chosen to trust my informed medical opinion.
Agreed.
Mine comes from the 99% of the world's epidemiologists and virologists. Yours, I do not know where it comes from. I've seen a couple of the videos. That's where it comes from for you.
Today, Uncle Seth, we're all Norwegians. Because you know what they said today? You didn't like what they said, did you?
I know. I saw
that. Those crazy religious Trumpers in Norway. First of all, huge atheistic country.
You're okay. So you're trying to.
So you've just thrown Norway under the bus. Just throw them. Whoa, hold on. If you just go to all the African countries who take major IMF money, you talk to the Africans, they're like, I was just there. They're not like, we really need these mandates to save us from this disease that I don't even know we have. So no, dude. So take Africa. Maybe you want to throw in one or two countries, but take Africa out of it too. Oh, India just gave ivermectin to everybody. Did you know that? They literally hand out ivermectin bags.
You know what? I also find this, let's just quickly as an ivermectin thing. You've also said to me that
ivermectin bags
and
bags of ivermectin.
And also stop trying to avoid saying horse dewormer and also delouser. You're trying to get away from these words. You complain that you don't, it's only not been long enough and they want to put something in your body. You don't know what it is. And yet you're taking horse dewormer.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to introduce someone to you tonight named Don Lemon. We've managed to get Don Lemon on the show. You are literally just repeating ridiculous things. 3 billion people have taken ivermectin in a pill.
Okay.
Over the last 30 years.
Great.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They've taken it for what?
They've taken it for ringworm and for various parasitical.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know that a lot of people take aspirin to thin their blood for heart? That's not why they made it. They made it for other things. Listen. Viagra. Oh, wait, that wasn't for putting your reproductive parts in a very particular position. It wasn't for that. Come on, man. I thought you were for the science.
So there's a conspiracy. So there's a conspiracy to stop people or to have people not take ivermectin. Is that what you're telling me?
Do you know what happens if ivermectin proves to be relatively?
Pfizer loses money.
No, they can't mandate this virus, this vaccine.
So they're pushing the vaccine so that they can mandate it to take over people's lives.
No, to make a ton of money. How do you not know this?
Do the people that make ivermectin, which costs 10 times the amount of the vaccine, going to?
Ivermectin is a generic drug. It's no longer controlled by any company.
Oh, yeah. It's the people that are forcing the vaccine production have decided, and all the scientists around the world, not all, 99% of the scientists have agreed that this is the best course of treatment to prevent COVID.
Okay, hold on. We're almost done with this, people. If you're tired of the COVID conversation,
sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, this is good. People want to hear this on one level because they like to hear two friends talking about. I think two friends talking about this is like real life. So let me just end with this. These numbers you keep citing about ivermectin and 99% of the doctors. I don't know where you're getting all that from. I think you think the CDC speaks on behalf of the world or something.
No, I get this. I assume that since almost every other country, sans Norway, is following a similar course of treatment.
India hands out ivermectin to all of the villages in India that can't get the vaccine.
Because they can't get the vaccine. Do you think if they could get the vaccine, they'd be handing out ivermectin?
Well, but ivermectin's just a horse dewormer. It doesn't really do anything. What are they just faking everybody out? I mean, that's 800 million people that have access to ivermectin. In the United States, everyone's like, don't take the horse dewormer. But we have Don Lemon here to tell us. I mean, gosh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got to admit something, Seth. When there's a ton of money involved, money and power go hand in hand. People want power.
I admit that.
You even said it earlier.
Absolutely. I admit that. Absolutely. I just don't. And if you think I don't know that these Pfizer fat cats are getting rich, of course they are.
You don't care.
They are.
I mean,
wait a minute.
I thought you were kind of a Marxist to start.
No, I am. So I do care. I do totally care. But I'm also a pragmatist. And you're going to die on the hill of not. Oh, it's funny. We should bring this up because just yesterday I got my booster shot, which is a lot more ethical.
That's why you're on this show.
I know.
Because I love you and you got a booster.
And I got a booster.
Guys, real life booster guy right here.
I'm a booster while Jugdish couldn't get his first shot.
By the way, I was just going to say, we've established in a different conversation, people who are listening, that Seth just killed someone today because he took the booster when most of the emerging economies of the world can't take even the first shot.
I know. Listen,
Sad. Do you feel like a hoarder? Do you feel like a little robot vaccine hoarder guy, the little robot that's in there. Do you feel like you've hoarded the robot from other people?
I don't feel great about it. That's for sure.
What can you do though? Do the
now,
thing.
You know what? Wait. Okay. Well, what can I do, guys? Because I do have multiple sclerosis.
So this is something too. This is where your friend always backs off. This is when I go like this. I'm going to get the vaccine just because you said that you have multiple sclerosis.
Because if you don't say that and don't treat me that way, I will report you to the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation Academy Alliance. Dude, and you will be canceled. We will cancel this pod.
You are in a multiple sclerosis safe space right now. Nobody is attacking you. Everyone's like, here's what everyone's saying. Wait, does he actually have? Yes, he actually has multiple sclerosis. You look pretty good for an MS guy. Looking good.
How do MS guys look?
I don't know. I don't even know how it works.
Yeah.
When I tried to ask you like what's going to happen to you, you're like, I don't know. Just give me a drink. Like you wouldn't you wouldn't open up. Speaking of that, let's talk about opening up to this idea of falling apart and dying, entropy. So yes. I was thinking about this on a recent podcast. In order to do stuff, you have to create waste. In order to exercise, you create sweat. But the sweat in this law of entropy, the waste and the act of acting creates death. If you're a guy like you in the new world who's, doing equations, you're like figuring stuff out, in the matrix. Does the law of entropy, the idea that all activity, all human activity is just leading to ultimately to their death, does that even faze you? What happens to you if I ask you that question? Do you just move on and just think about the next thing? Or do you think, damn, my life's totally worthless, empty?
No, that's why. Yeah, it's because you're approaching it from your definition of, you are the one that's fighting death on one hand, which is weird, because on the other hand, you're taking the aforementioned dewormer. You know what I mean? You guys are fighting death. Let's put it this way. Are you for euthanasia?
It doesn't feel right to me. No.
Yeah. I mean, you've got this kingdom awaiting you and it's such a it's not
the kingdom awaiting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you were raised an Episcopalian, so this is going to be a lot of podcasts before we kind of get you clear of that. Right now, all the Episcopalians just went, whoa, really, dude?
I know. Now we lost the Pentecostals earlier. Now we lost the Episcopalians. Okay.
Jeez, what are we going to do? There's going to be no supporters of First Things Left. Like the two Orthodox dudes with beards. Which I love those guys. So the kingdom is now. So like there's no separation. The Orthodox have a different understanding of where you are right now and where you're going. It's all happening. In fact, they would say you're always being saved. It's not done. Even in the next world, you don't just, ta-da! It wouldn't make sense. You're always growing toward the ultimate. It would be impossible to not do that unless you are it. Unless you are the God, you can never be fully formed. So you're always working toward God. But
the more you talk about this orthodoxy racket, the more I'm in.
You love it.
I'm bored with a lot of this stuff.
Listen, but go back to this. This is so for us guys that like to participate in, thoughts and up here, wish I put my hands to more things. If that thought gets stuck in your head, does it bother you? Do you care that there might not be any meaning in this world? Every time you go to do something good, it just means you're getting closer to falling apart.
I don't know why you think that unless there is some journey. I mean, the journey is the meaning. I'm the one that says this. You guys are the ones that I don't believe that. You can say you do. The way it's presented to me.
So the meaning is in the moment.
For me, because this is it.
Oh, okay.
This I've got one go through. I've explained this on other podcasts. I've got one go through. I think on the death one we talked about that. There's the meaning that this is all I've got. This is this moment, this life, this existence, this mission is it. And so that imbues my whole life with meaning that I think a lot of your listeners that I think has a lot more weight than your side sees it as.
Okay, so we're not going back into the COVID conversation, but just for a second, as an example. So if you use that same mentality and you look at somebody who has maybe misguided principle, at least from your perspective, but the principle is I won't be coerced into your medicine because I don't have the fear that you have. And I know I'm not passing this on to the people in my house who already have your medicine. That principled person is making meaning at that moment. And in that moment, to force them or coerce them into changing that meaning feels, I don't know, it feels ugly. But is it ugly for you to try to go against his principles?
I don't know. You use coercion in very handy ways for you, because you wouldn't say that I am coerced into loving God when God explicitly says to fear him, and you're supposed to fear things. So you throw around fear a lot as well. I'm fearing something, and I saw, on one of these, somebody made a comment on one of these casts about, boy, the fear is strong in that one. About me.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
That. I saw that.
About you.
Yeah, about me. That's such a
fear is strong in that one.
That's such a unsophisticated understanding of the push that's coming from a lot of my side. Not everybody on my side, but a lot of my side. But for you to talk about fear and coercion is so hypocritical that it almost doesn't deserve a response.
Why? Because
you traffic in that. Your people traffic in.
Is that the coercion of the afterlife?
Yeah, of damnation. The coercion of damnation. This is unbelievable. And for you to say that in this life, this is so coercive, except the eternal damnation. Let's not talk about that. Give me a break. Just like when you talked about cancel culture and God is the original canceller. And it's not that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this life. Give me a break.
I think this is interesting. What the God you're speaking of is different than the God I'm aware of.
Okay.
But it could be that it comes, for instance, again, take the East, take the ancient church. You wouldn't say, I don't know where you're going. I don't know what the afterworld holds for you. I really don't know. I can't say that. Now, I can say that these are some signs. These are ways in. These are ways. These might be ways out. But even in that way, I can't really say who's damned and who's not. That's not an Eastern phraseology.
What does the Eastern Church thinks is the result of me not being Orthodox or not being Christian?
So the answer would be,
go ahead.
So the only result that can be spoken of while you live is that you're not living fully. And to live fully is to live with God. So to say there is no God cuts you off from fulfillment, from totality, from what you're meant to be in this world. So, because we don't think there's like a separation. The separation has occurred in us. We're not able to see clearly. It's because we've actually become in love with the flesh. we love the body. We love the world. We get blinded to the spiritual reality all around us. So that's called the fall. So the fall is when I can't see clearly, but I see with my eyes, but I don't see with my nous. So hold on. My nous allows me to see the reality I'm talking of. And then when that's opened, then I can move toward fulfillment. Now, don't get this wrong because you're my buddy. You can't, not because you don't have a nous, but you can't because you already are denying that you even have the possibility of seeing God while alive on this earth.
And how does that fulfillment, what does that fulfillment look like in me?
Well, it's about increase in magnitudes of love and generosity. And so when you're already doing that, because you're one of my peeps, you already act that way. That's why I always tell you that you've already been invited and been attracted to the beauty, but you're doing it despite your intellectual shackles.
But have I subconsciously accepted it? And then that's why I am who I am.
You've been gifted it. You've been gifted it. Right. You've been gifted it.
And it's in me.
First of all, everybody's been gifted it. It's just like everybody is capable, right, of pick something, swimming. The problem is not everybody has been put into the water. Not everybody people have been taught to fear it. So you're capable of it. Your mother clearly injected it into you. But what the Orthodox say is the church is the formal culture of Christ into which you get clarity on how to do this thing. When you're not recognizing the church, you're doing it perhaps off and on, but you're not doing it in an attentive way. It's just like basketball practice. You can go and play hoops. You can play hoops in your living room with one of those little fake little plastic things. You're playing basketball. You're doing it according to your desires at your whims whenever you want. And then what happens is you're a basketball player. I'm fine with that. But there's an attentive actual way. There's a formal culture for becoming Jordan, or at least closer to Jordan. And the church is the offering by God to say, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do it and let's go all the way. And I'm not saying you got to do it because you still maintain your humanity, your soul. The question is do you want to do it? And most people are like, I don't trust it. The problem with the modernity is you've been taught, like I've been taught, to only trust ourselves. And so to be in the church is to be obedient. And that's trick.
Fine. So, but ultimately what you're saying is that you, under that understanding, I am not living life, fully or in a way that is as fulfilling as it would be.
I'm using that word. I'm using that word. The Orthodox, again, the vocab would be, you're not purified, illumined, and deified. You're not. Now, again, a lot of religious traditions have these ways of categorizing the spiritual ladder. So do I think there's versions of your life that are purification and illumination? And sure. But to be aware is to be enlightened. That's the idea. And so, look, I don't know if any of that makes sense, but the point, this is one of the reasons when you say your people, about 80% of what I just described to you, about 80% of the people that you think are my people would reject what I just said. So without being too confusing is the people you think that are my people would have just said, that guy's got some weird ideas about Jesus.
John, so you cannot afford to lose any more people from listening to this podcast. Episcopalians, Pentecostals, and now another basically 80%.
They're all gone. And here's the other thing. If my wife hears this, she's gone too. So then I also lost a wife, my kids. What else? Seth, will you still be my friend after this?
Depends. It depends.
It depends.
You know? If you keep taking DeLauser, then I don't know. I know you're safe to be around from a pest point of view, but
okay, answer this because this is going to speak to this soul nous thing. All right, nous is the Greek word for the spiritual eye. So here's your question: I came to your house long before there was a vaccine. Well, no, you had just gotten it, I think.
No, I was vaxxed.
But I came into your house.
Yeah.
And I sat down. You did not kick me out. and you even took off your mask.
Yeah.
Something about me allowed you to break your light people rules.
In the same way that when you first walked in, you donned a mask when you saw me wearing one. So something about you made you change. It's the love between us. So we were willing to love each other as ourselves, or
see each other. Yeah.
See each other. And this is my point on this whole COVID thing. When everything washes out 50 years from now, all I'll be able to say is I erred on the side of trying to love people where they are. And I feel like your side didn't. They erred on a different side. And I will say this.
Fair. That's a fair. I'm reminded of my barber. I didn't tell this story last time, I don't think. Ramon. Shout out to Ramon, Old World Barbershop. It's literally called the Old World Barbershop. Let's do an ad for him down in Naples.
Awesome.
Hit him up. He's the best.
Excellent.
Serves you a drink when you sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the best. Takes time, puts on music. He's fantastic. So he said, and I might curse Andrew a little bit because it's Ramon. He's like, he's a Dominican guy who grew up in New York City. He's like, did you take this thing? Did you take it? And I'm like, nah, I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to take it. I'm not going to take this thing. Nobody's going to make me. He was like doing a Tony Montana. That's not going to take this thing. And then he says, like, I said, so what happened? What'd you do? You took it? And he said, I got this guy. And I've been cutting his hair for about 25 years. And he comes in, he calls me up in the middle of the pandemic. And he says, I need my haircut more than anything else, but I got to know, Ramon, did you get the shot? And he said, I didn't get it. I don't want to get it. And then his buddy, the customer said, I need you to get the shot because I got to get my hair cut. And Ramon says, I went and took that shot. And he's still pissed. And I'm like, I told him, I said,
see, and that's my whole point there. That is exactly, you're right. That is the whole thing. Cause he didn't get the shot because this dude, he was going to lose out on this guy's $15. He took the shot because this is somebody who he communes with.
That's right. Now, the next thing I want you to just address is, what if the shot actually still allows you to get COVID and still pass it? Do you care?
What do you mean, do I care?
Do you still want everyone to get the shot, even if it's not efficacious?
Well, but by whose determination? By your doctorate in epidemiology, your doctoral work that you've, or by 1,000 doctors? See, here's what's happened.
Oh no! What about this?
You guys think you're Galileo.
What about this? What about the Washington Post on September 15th? More than 15 studies have demonstrated the power of immunity acquired by previously having the virus.
Right. So go ahead and get the virus. Everybody run out and get the virus.
It's just 700,000 person study.
Yeah. Good
from
study.
Israel, a very Trumpian.
I think that, well, they are.
Oh, I forgot.
The capital, buddy.
The people like me who didn't get the shot. Tremendous. Yeah, people like me who did not get the shot actually are
likes
27.
they've never seen. That's
is that a quote?
Moved it to the city, the likes you've never seen, Jerusalem.
I know you guys hate Trump, but he's really not running Israel. So here's the deal: 27 times less likely to get a second symptomatic COVID infection.
Yes.
So why do you want me to get the COVID shot again? Please help me understand.
So we've got these studies, right?
That's a pretty big one. Do you like that one? Do you dismiss? Because even Fauci went, I don't really know what to say about that. We should do a study on antibodies.
The studies.
Come on, man.
Of course. I think getting COVID and not dying is great because now you have some antibodies. Is that what yes, great. You got COVID. You didn't die. Congratulations.
Why do you want me to get the shot again? I'm trying to understand this. Just work with me for a second.
I'm telling you, I revert to my old position that, are you talking to me? If you don't get
to me, 55-year-old dude.
Okay.
Who had it.
I want you to get a shot so that you are able to enjoy all the things in life that at this point in history would having a shot would avail you of.
I do it differently. I just ask the lawmakers to not pass a test that would force me to do something that clearly the answer isn't you're worried I'm going to get
force. There's your force thing again. Who forced you? Who forced you to do anything?
Good point.
Oh, you're going to say, yeah, because, I might not be able to go to a concert because it's a vax show. Oh yeah. We forced you. You don't go to the concert.
Well, I won't be attending. I won't be attending my daughter's New York City jazz. I won't be doing it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. That once in a lifetime pandemic happened during your 60, 70 years on Earth. I'm sorry this happened in the grand course of history, and that you decided that the way society was dealing with this, every society, not just
not true.
United States,
not true.
Who are you going to bring up?
Sweden, Norway.
Yeah. Keep going.
Italy allows people like me. I'm going to do it. Italy and France allows people like me to go to the concert because I have antibodies.
Okay, so
why won't you be for that? That's like a basic.
It's a matter of degrees for you. None of this
science. Could it be science for you? You're a light person. You're supposed to follow the science rules. My antibodies are as good as yours.
I said that is great.
Let me go. So let me go.
You're super. Here's. Let you go. What?
Let me go to the concert. Let's go. Me and you. Let's go hand in hand. Let's go hand in hand and change the mandate. Because
will you bring the antibody test as proof?
Yeah, let's do it,
dude. I'm down for that.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So you don't like the New York City policy then? I got it.
That's what you have to show vax.
Yeah, only vax card, man. Only
no. I think what's going to happen now is we're going to find more studies like the thing you brought up, and we're going to see that people who have had it is if it's commensurate with having been vaxxed, and you can prove it. I don't care.
Oh, good. It's 100 million people. I'm psyched.
Okay, great. That's great. Who are they? Which ones are they?
Well, they just have to.
I want to know which ones they are.
Well, we can find out using the passport process that you like to introduce, where we just passport the whole world. Well, that's fun. All right, let's end with this. Let's end with this. Let's end with this. This was something that was on our list. I think one thing we do agree on, old world, new world, is something like there is a greed problem in the West.
Yes.
That sort of bent culture and banged it up over the last, 100 years. And so do you think all of this change of life, do you think it can move us away from maybe that head down, success is money, get more stuff culture that most people agree we were pretty deeply involved in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I was talking about the reset, that greed culture is born out of that individualism, that's eventually, that's why capitalism and Christianity, there's just no way you can reconcile those in my mind, because as we talked about in your class, that individualism, at some point you got to turn on your daughter if she's cutting into your profits. It's base individualism. So if you're admitting that there is a greed problem, you're admitting exactly what I was saying. There's an individual versus community problem.
Okay.
And this was this was an opportunity. Now you can argue that it was handled such that people's reactions became divisive. I understand that, but you can't argue, in my mind, that this was a good opportunity to look outward. Everybody's talking about looking inward, I mean, looking inward in your heart, but not looking outward and looking at a community of people. Remember in the beginning when this all started? I know it keeps going back to this COVID thing, and
it's okay. It's all right.
I don't love it. I'm sorry, but remember when this, it's hashtag we're all in this together. We're all in this together.
I remember that.
And I told Allison right off the bat, a year from now, everybody's going to be not in this together. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to attach themselves to something in the moment, like so edifying, we're part of a thing, whatever. And then, no, we all go back to what it is. And that is greed and individualism.
Okay. Do you think that there's a way out? What's the light people? What's the modern sort of secular person's way out? What is the way out to make American culture, quote, better?
And this is what I think you need to come to terms with. There is not a way out.
Oh, why? Because I'm like Pollyanna or something, like if we can.
Well, no, I think that. Listen, I think religionists are Pollyannish. Let's face it. You've got hope in some kind of force that is going to overcome the human condition or the human juggernaut towards something. Or in however you face it, or else you wouldn't give a about the day-to-day happenings on earth if there were something different.
No, it's too big to take on in one maybe we do that next time. I don't want to just do, but you're using tropes, you're using ideas.
That's what I do.
That are unfamiliar. They're familiar to me, but they're unfamiliar to the culture that I'm trying to adopt and adapt to, which is the culture of orthodoxy. They're not
the culture of orthodoxy. What do you think is the way out?
So the way out is always the way in. So there is no out. Each
but you just asked me what I think the way out is.
No, but now you're asking me, so maybe I'll try. And then the way out of anything is always to die to your ego. It's the ego that creates the problem. It's the ego that has already created the problem. And so when I'm pointing at the Great Reset people, there's the reason that I point at them is not, I don't know them. But I know their philosophy is they'll figure it out. You see, when you hear someone going, we're going to run the numbers and we're going to figure it out. That's when you just go, wah, 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 because they're not going to figure it out. What they have to do is they have to die to their ego. So what happens is that looks like prayer or fasting or quiet or smallness. And it doesn't look like Donald Trump. It doesn't look like, let me tell you what we're going to do. It doesn't look like that. It looks like the opposite of that. And so what do I think? The only way out is for all of us to go in, just like you say, but this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. What's the act look like? For instance, if I tell you, the way into the NBA championship is we need to improve our shooting. And then guess what happens? The next 20 practices looks like improving shooting. You don't get to go do dribbling. They're going to make you shoot. What does that spiritual activity look like? Well, the Orthodox Church offers a whole series of spiritual activities. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no way out unless you enter the spiritual life. And then if all of us did that, you know what? The world would start to look a lot like it was supposed to look. That's the way out. Nobody wants to hear that because they think Joe Biden's going to fix it. Come on.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Now I want some pragmatism. Do you think humans are going to start doing what you said?
Oh no. Not at all. No.
And then that raises another question. Here's another one. Andrew, cue this one up. Why hasn't God helped us? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the only question.
So we're going to end there. The next podcast with Seth and I is going to open with us reading from The Grand Inquisitor by Fyodor Dostoevsky, because he answers that question. Great. He answers that question.
We'll do that right after this brief message from Hilltop.
Right at home. Guys, we laugh when he says Hilltop, but Hilltop can play. So let's end. We did do a lot of COVID. We couldn't help it, but I hadn't seen you in almost 2 months.
I would have preferred more about the empathy. We didn't even really delve too much in on the empathy.
Well, you did do a nice riff on something like it was time for all of us to get quiet and listen to each other and be in our house with our families. It had an empathetic vibe. Yeah. But I kind of like parts of this. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll just zoom out right now. Seth, that's Uncle Seth, because that's how he's known around my house. Uncle Seth is also a musician. He's a professional. He's an educator in Chicago. He's my dearest friend, and we're trying to figure out old world, new world divides on why are we talking about rabbits. Sheni's Gagi Marjos, that means to you the victory. That's set at the Super table, also known as the KP table. Seth, we're opening a restaurant. It's happening. Yeah. Wow. It's happening. We're getting closer, probably around Christmas time. That restaurant is called KP, and it's at the center of our journey at First Things Foundation, which is really just offering relationship to people in need so that they might tell us what to do. Then we help them build and facilitate their own projects. We do this 2 years at a time. We do it overseas. We do it here at home. Come check us out at www.first-things.org. This is WAWTAR. That's Uncle Seth. Sheni's Gagi Marjos.
Gagi Marjos.
Thank you, brother.